FBA TV. In this video, I want to talk about how to spot an Amazon guru, scammer, contrepreneur type person. Now, I nicked the contrepreneur term from Mike Winnett proudly because, yeah, it's just a term that sort of describes these people very, very clearly. So I need to do this video to help you to make sure that you don't get burnt like I got burnt in a different industry a little while ago and got scammed by what I call contrepreneurs, just like Mike Winnett does. Now, there's certain tactics they use to sort of draw you into their offer, and they end up being the big winners out of this. So let me just explain the process of what these contrepreneurs do and how you can actually avoid these scammers that are actually sort of littered throughout TikTok and YouTube, etc. There's certain traits that they have that you can notice. There's certain procedures that they do in order to get you into their funnels, for example. So let me explain firstly what I think a contrepreneur, scammer, fake guru type person is, and then I'll explain exactly how they get you into their funnel. Then I'll explain how you spot them. So what are they? So I class these people as, well, obviously I'm not a fan of them because they give people like me a bad reputation. They give the good guys, which I consider to be few and far in between in this industry and many industries. You've got the Amazon industry, e-commerce, property, they're everywhere. And there's some good people, but there's also a lot of bad people. And when I say bad people, they're people that don't really care about you. They just care about lining their own pockets. And what they are is these people that will set up these mass webinars or these in-person events, and they will get you to either run to the back of the room of these big events, or on the webinar, they get you to do a big sales pitch at the end of it. And then they will upsell you, usually a very overpriced course. In an in-person event, they do an overpriced course to like a 2 or 3 day sort of mastermind event, and then they will upsell you again to like a £10,000-15,000 yearly mentorship at the end of that. And if it's a webinar, they might just upsell you a 2,000 or 3,000 membership, mastermind or thing, whatever, or course or whatever. But what's actually happening here is that in most cases, the person that's selling you this is not actually earning that much money from that actual business model themselves generally. And what they're actually doing is just using this as a business model, as a base sort of mediocre business that they've built for themselves, if they even do it anymore. Some people don't even sell on Amazon. They're trying to do this to people. And then they will just upsell you this 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15,000 pounds course or mentorship, mastermind, which is very basic information that you can find in many, many places. And what they do is they target these vulnerable people. When I say vulnerable, I don't just mean old people. They target these vulnerable people, i.e. people that are really desperate to make money, for example, because you're quite, I don't want to say foolish, but you could be quite open to manipulation when you're really, really desperate, okay? Because this is what happened to me when I was younger. And then in reality, 0.5% of people get a success rate, and then they blame that success rate on the people, which obviously in some cases it is, but in many cases, they just weren't right for that business. They weren't right for that, and then they got upsold a dream by these amazing salespeople, and that's what they are. They're amazing salesmen. In my opinion, it's an unethical way to do business. Obviously, I could do it myself, but it's an unethical way to do business. It's not something I ever wanted to do. So that's what it is, and that's how they get you in. That's how they do it. And here's how to spot it. Okay, so there's a few different ways that these people sort of operate their businesses. So one of the ways they do it is by doing these in-person events. So what they'll either do a Facebook ad, or they'll do a TikTok ad or something like that, YouTube ad, and they will offer you something free. You've got to be careful with the word free. Now, there's some people that give stuff away for free, like me, like Gary Vee, like Stephen Bartlett, people like that do actually give free content, okay? But there's people that offer this free masterclass, free webinar, free event. Anything that's free, like pushed in your face free, but there's paid advertisement being paid towards that free. If it's organic, it could be a bit different. Not in all cases, but it could be. If someone's paying thousands of pounds for advertising something that is free, trust me, then you're the product. If someone's paying thousands of pounds to advertise something, it's not free. I can guarantee you that. there's going to be something sold along the line somewhere. So if it's an in-person event and it's free, that you're going to get upsold loads of times at that event, okay? And what they're going to do is upsell you into usually like a 2-day course, 3-day course, something like that, depending on their setup. And then at that event, they're going to upsell you a £10,000-15,000 course. Now, they are masters of NLP and manipulation. Now, NLP is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing. They're masters of manipulation, making you feel like if you don't do what they're doing, you will miss out. And even now, even me, now I know this, I got stung by this. I spent tens of thousands of pounds on, I spent about £15,000, me and my business partner, and got stung by these sales methods that pretty much got me nowhere, in unethical ways. And even to this day, if I go to them events, I promise you, even I want to buy them. And even though I know that they're just, it's just upsell nonsense, right? That you can get this information in many places. Even I now feel like I still want to buy them. That's how manipulative they are. That's how persuasive they are, just so you know. So that's one thing, okay? Or it could be a webinar type thing. So what they do, once again, they do the ads, they do the Facebook ads or whatever, and they're giving you this free webinar, free how to grow an Amazon business in 3 months, for example, to 100K. So some strapping strapline, okay? And then what they do is they get you into that webinar, blah, 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 we go through it all, and then what they will do is they will upsell you to this, usually a course ending in 997 or 1997 or something like that. And this is very regular. This happens. And what they do is just, it's a live event, but it's not live because it's usually pre-recorded. Not in all cases, but it's pre-recorded. And that's like a free cash machine. They just sit there and let that run over and run over and run over. And even if they get one sale per thingy, it's a lot of money, right? And then they're upselling you this basic course, this basic membership or something like that. And once again, they're getting their pockets lined. And the way that they sell it is the issue. I'm not ever saying that it's not okay to buy a course for £1,000 or £2,000, £10,000 masterminds, by the way. But it's the people that it's being targeted to that's the issue. It's the way that it's sold that's the issue. It's the really, really high, fast, unethical ways of selling that really, really high pressured sales to the wrong people. Yes, I would happily spend £5,000 right now on the right mastermind with the right people. But that's my decision. And I'm at a level in business where I'm not in a high level, by the way, but I'm at a certain level in business where I've got that disposable income to be able to do that. And I can claim it back on the business and I would make that decision. But that would be me making that conscious decision. The problem is that they're putting it to these people that work in Tesco, upselling them a dream as if they're going to achieve everything they want to if they just spend £5,000. They end up getting in debt, these people, and then it causes them a lot of stress and sometimes depression. Because of this upsell, because they've been upsold this dream to these vulnerable people. That's my issue with it. So that's what it is, okay? And that's the traits, okay? And the traits of these types of people, they could also offer you one-to-one mentorship for like crazy amounts of money as well. Once again, they're going to certain types of people that are vulnerable. And there's many ways that you can see this, but other than the advertisements, you'll get a lot of people that do stuff like this as well. And they will be on TikTok, YouTube, etc., etc. And once again, it's annoying because it paints people like me or people that are not.
Quick introduction for my brand new sponsor, Sellerboard. Now, I've been using Sellerboard since the start of my journey. It was one of the first softwares that I actually installed as an Amazon seller. Not only is Sellerboard brilliant at tracking your profits, it is also an extremely user-friendly dashboard. If you want to check it out with a 2-month free trial, click the link below and get my 2 months free trial for Sellerboard and you won't look back. See you in the next video.
Trying to upsell you these unfair courses or anything like that. It paints everyone with a bad brush that even talks about stuff in the industry. So that's obviously frustrating, but you need to look out for the right people. As a general rule, if someone's putting loads and loads of effort into creating content for you, and giving you stuff for free, like webinars or, offering you like all these ways that you can get these free masterminds or free webinars or email list, etc., then they've probably got an alternative incentive to do that. Especially if it's paid, once again, you've got to watch out for this stuff. Also, if someone's non-stop bang, 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 loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of content non-stop, non-stop, you can tell it's like their full-time gig, then, well, who's running their other business? And why aren't they putting all that effort into their business that they're trying to sell you? Oh, it's probably because they've realised they can make more money from upselling you stuff like that than they can from their actually original business. Yeah. So it's quite clear to spot these people once you know this thing. But generally, anyone that's selling, anyone that's got a link to a course or a membership or anything like that, just you've got to know that anything that they're talking about, anything they're talking about is generally linking back to them trying to sell you their course. Now, not everyone, but there's a lot of them, so you've got to be careful. So anyway, I hope that video's helped. Just be aware. There's some good people out there, but there's a lot of bad people that are just literally they're not necessarily even bad people. They're not aware of what they're doing, like ripping these vulnerable people off, getting these vulnerable people into debt. It's not scamming, essentially. You can't even call it scamming, but it's getting vulnerable people into debt, and it's just unethical in my eyes. So I wanted to talk to you about that. Be aware. Do your due diligence. Message a few people in an industry asking about this person, and if they're anyone, if they've got a name for themselves, then you should get a message back from a few people. Don't take one person's advice, but if 10 people tell you this person's dodgy, stay away from them, then you know to stay away from them. Ask a few people in their industry. Ask a few people in that industry if they can give you some feedback on this person. It might help you out. So I hope that video's helped. Make sure you like and subscribe and share it with anyone so they don't get stung by this stuff.